Well, since the coronavirus pandemic began, artist Ai Weiwei has launched himself into creative and humanitarian projects. In June, he raised over £1 million selling face coverings he designed to help support the work of global charities fighting coronavirus. And now he's unveiled his latest work at the Imperial War Museum. History of Bombs is a display of 50 life-size bombs that replicate those used in conflicts and wars over the last 100 years. And Ai Weiwei joins me now from Berlin. Many thanks indeed for joining us this morning. This artwork is set to draw on your ongoing investigation into politics and power. Firstly, why did you decide to get involved with the Imperial War Museum?
I think it's a very good location, and for many reasons, it focuses on the military practice of the history, and there's so much to be learned, and also so many things need to be aware of what has been going on in our human modern history, or in this kind of politics, because the war is the extreme of the political struggle. And I think this is a chance for us to do a real study to see what has been physically produced and by whom, and what kind of historical reason or meaning.
So what will people see when they go to the exhibition, and also what would you like them to experience?
I think as artists, you transform your feeling or your consciousness into a physical expression, which means either in writing or in art objects or in the public space. So that kind of possibility would build up some kind of discussion. And people cannot. You do think people need to be aware, and those things have to be physically almost like touchable, or you stand on it, and those are real size bombs, and you only hear it from news, but to this kind of close range, and it means very different.
This also comes at a time when the Imperial War Museum is exploring the experience of refugees. This is something that is personal to you. Your father was banished to a forced labour camp in 1957. You yourself grew up in exile.
Yes, I think the refugee situation has become even more extreme than years ago when I just got involved doing the film Human Flow, and now the number still going up. We can see many refugees, probably most of them, have been pushed out of home by wars. So refugees directly tell me why they have to move, because those bombs comes down like a rain. So that I still remember that sentence, which is unthinkable, how they survived. But did they really survive? And once they come to safe ground, I don't think they really survived. They just, there's very little concern in today's global politics about their conditions.
And on the point of the conditions of people, interesting to get your thoughts about the situation currently in Hong Kong. We've seen the arrests of pro-democracy activists. We've also seen the disqualification of people from the legislative election process. I mean, what do you make of the crackdown that we are seeing in Hong Kong, China using this national security law?
I think what happens in Hong Kong yesterday or today, a few youngsters among 16 to 21 years old, they are just posting some internet posts, and they're being arrested. Those are just the first drops of the water of a heavy rain. The national security law has been practiced in China for past many decades. under this kind of law, which made sure this authoritarian state can function, and under that function bring China to this most powerful, one of the most powerful power. I think that is the surviving game Chinese government is playing. But to put it in Hong Kong with such a heavy-handed law, I think many people were facing to be either in jail or exiled or to be silenced.
And you mentioned first drops of water. What about the last drops of water? I mean, how bad could it get for people in Hong Kong? And also, what does that mean for the relationship between China and the West?
I think Hong Kong just will become another province in China. That means any freedom of speech or human rights condition will be very heavily restricted under Chinese law. So any new ideas or new voice will be crushed.
And all of this
so last drop of water will be the ocean, and they will be really sinking down to the ocean.
A bleak picture that you paint. We are in the midst of a global pandemic. What do you make of the way that China has dealt with information surrounding COVID-19?
I think it's obviously China had made a mistake at an early stage, and I really think they should admit it, because anybody can make a mistake, but only China cannot afford of admitting this kind of problems. You know, this has been costing them so much of their credibility, and how can international partners or in business can trust them and to think they're dependable. So that really have such a heavy cost. I don't know why they don't understand this situation. Just to be transparent, to have a transparency, and to be honest, which is always difficult, not only in China, but still China for hiding up the information or distort those information has been causing a huge problem for the world.
Ai Weiwei, really good to get your thoughts. Many thanks indeed for joining us this morning here on Sky News. Thank you.
Thank you.